Have you ever felt like you're more roommates than romantic partners? What happens when the spark fades, and you're just coexisting under the same roof? Hi, I'm Michael Flynn, and welcome to Relationship Reset Academy. With over 10 years of experience as a relationship counselor, I'm here to help you navigate the ups and downs of love, intimacy, and connection. In today's video, we're diving into why couples end up in this roommate situation and, more importantly, how to break free from it. Stick around until the end, because I'm sharing a simple strategy that can change everything in just 30 days. Before we jump in, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss expert tips on improving your relationship. Now, let's take a closer look at the steps to transform your marriage from roommates to passionate partners. Step 1. Recognize the pattern. You know that feeling, right? When you're both just going through the motions, sharing a bed, meals, maybe even a Netflix account, but something's missing. The romance, the passion, the closeness, it's all faded. You're not lovers anymore, just roommates. It's a tough place to be, but believe me, you're not alone. This happens in relationships. Life gets busy. Kids, jobs, bills, deadlines, stress. It pulls you both in so many directions that it can feel like you're living separate lives under the same roof. It's easy for that intimacy, the emotional connection that makes a relationship feel alive, to slip through the cracks. When that happens, it's like everything else starts taking priority, and the romantic bond gets pushed to the side. But here's the thing, this doesn't mean you've failed. It doesn't mean the relationship is over. In fact, it can actually be a wake-up call, a chance to stop and ask yourselves, what do we want this to look like again? Relationships naturally go through phases, and sometimes, it's just a matter of getting back to the heart of why you fell in love in the first place. The key here is to recognize the situation, accept it without guilt, and take responsibility for turning things around. By simply acknowledging the problem, you've already taken the first step. And remember, even the best relationships go through ups and downs. This is just a phase, and it's a phase you can change. Step 2. Start with the little things. Let's get real for a second. This isn't going to change overnight, and there's no magic fix that will suddenly make everything perfect. But if you're truly serious about rebuilding that connection, it does start with the little things. And I'm talking about the small stuff that may seem insignificant at first, but in reality, it can make a huge difference. When was the last time you held hands just because? Or gave your partner a compliment without it being prompted? Or made them laugh over something silly? These little gestures matter more than you might realize. They're the glue that can reconnect you emotionally. Start by focusing on things like positive touch, whether that's a hug, a kiss on the cheek, or even a quick rub on the back. Physical touch is one of the easiest and most effective ways to rebuild intimacy. Even if it feels awkward at first, stick with it. Touch is like a silent language that communicates love without needing words. Also, take time to speak kind words. Compliment them not just on their appearance, but on who they are as a person. Tell them what you love about their character. Make it a point to remind each other why you chose each other in the first place. Something as simple as saying, I appreciate you, or I'm really grateful for you, can go a long way in reigniting the bond. Another small but powerful move is shared experiences. Even if it's just 10 minutes of talking about your day, or making a cup of coffee together in the morning, these seemingly insignificant moments create a shared life that reminds you both you're in this together. The small stuff adds up. And when you begin to actively create these moments, you'll notice that your connection starts to shift, even if only a little at first. Step 3. Reignite the romance. Okay, so we've talked about the little things. But let's be real. Romance is the part that tends to get totally neglected when you fall into the roommate trap. I get it. After a long day of work, errands, and kids if you have them, the last thing you want to do is plan romance. But romance is what will get you back on track, and it's about so much more than just physical intimacy. It's about reigniting the emotional connection you once had. Think back to when you were dating or newly married. What did you do for each other that made you feel special? Maybe it was the thoughtful gestures, like leaving a sweet note, or surprising each other with a favorite meal. It doesn't have to be complicated or grand. What matters is that it's intentional. Romance starts in the small moments. A thoughtful text during the day, a quick "I miss you" when you're apart, or a spontaneous kiss when they least expect it. These things matter. It's the way you look at them when you've just finished a long day and you still want to share a moment together. Planning a date night is another crucial step in this process. And no, I'm not saying you need to spend a lot of money or dress up for some extravagant night out. Romance doesn't need to be expensive, it needs to be intentional. It could be a cozy dinner at home with candles, a glass of wine, and a movie you both love. Or, it could be something as simple as cooking dinner together, sharing a laugh, and talking like you did when you were first getting to know each other. Don't overthink it. You're trying to reconnect, so make time for things that remind you of the early days of your relationship, those little moments when you felt completely in tune with each other. You can even make a list of the things that brought you joy early on, and start bringing them back one by one. If you want more ideas on how to bring romance back into your life, visit romancedictionary.com/marriage for simple yet effective tips that are sure to help. The link is in the pop-up here and in the description below. Step 4. Communicate like you mean it, and listen too. Let's be honest, communication is probably the one thing you've heard about 1,000 times before, but it's also the one thing that can completely change your relationship if you take it seriously. What happens when you and your partner talk? Are you really communicating, or are you just talking at each other? Are you hearing them or just waiting for your turn to speak? The problem is, when couples fall into that roommate routine, communication often becomes about logistics. Who's picking up the kids? What's for dinner? Who's doing the laundry? But there's more to it than that. The trick is to communicate with empathy and understanding, not just to make a point or solve problems. It's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. The key here is to avoid playing the blame game. Instead of saying, "You never help around the house," try saying something like, "I feel a bit overwhelmed when I have to take care of everything on my own. Can we figure out a way to share the load?" And listening? That's just as important. This isn't about just hearing the words, they need to feel like you get them. Try to put yourself in their shoes and understand their emotions, even if you don't always agree. Empathy is the foundation of good communication. If you find that communication is the biggest challenge for you both, start with small shifts. Set aside time, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, to talk without distractions. Put away the phones, turn off the TV, and just focus on each other. Ask them how they're feeling, what they're thinking. Show genuine interest in their emotional world. Effective communication will be a game changer in bringing you closer together. Step 5. Create time for each other. In the whirlwind of life, time is one of the hardest things to manage. But it's also one of the most important. If you're feeling like roommates, it's because you're likely not spending quality time together. And no, I don't mean just sitting in the same room while both of you are glued to your phones. I'm talking about intentional, undistracted time. Making time for each other can feel like a luxury when life is busy, but the truth is, it's a necessity for your relationship. Without it, you'll keep slipping into the rut of just being roommates. This time doesn't have to be huge chunks of hours or extravagant getaways, although those can help too. It's about making small, consistent efforts to spend time together, even in the busiest seasons of life. Take advantage of those little pockets of time. Start with small rituals, like having a cup of coffee together in the morning, taking a short walk after dinner, or just talking before bed about how your day went. Set weekly date nights, even if they're simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. The key is that you're prioritizing each other. The more time you spend truly connecting, the easier it becomes to reignite the emotional bond you've lost. And when you make it a regular part of your routine, it will soon become something you both look forward to. You'll be amazed at how much closer you can grow simply by making the effort to spend intentional time together. For more tips on creating those deeper connections, don't forget to visit romancedictionary.com/marriage for exclusive resources designed to help couples rediscover each other and keep that spark alive. The link is in the pop-up here and in the description below. Look, I know it can feel frustrating when things seem like they're stuck in a rut, but here's the truth: you have the power to change it. One small step at a time. By making a few simple changes today, you can start the process of rebuilding your emotional intimacy and connection. Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We've got so much more coming your way to help you reset and revive your relationship. Leave a comment down below with any thoughts or questions you have. If you're serious about reconnecting, take a look at the links in the description box. Remember, you deserve a fulfilling, passionate relationship, and it starts with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.